Listen up. Motivation is a myth. The idea that you need to feel like working to get things done is a lie fed to weak minds. If you only work when you feel like it, you'll never achieve anything. Winners, the ones who dominate life, don't wait for motivation. They execute. The secret to working without motivation is simple. Discipline, routine, unbreakable mindset. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. And your training is how you operate on your worst days. You think warriors wake up every morning feeling pumped? No, they get up and do what must be done. Champions don't wait for a spark. They create fire through relentless action. You want success? Then stop making excuses. Stop waiting for inspiration. Stop being weak. Your body doesn't care how you feel. Your goals don't care if you're tired. The world rewards results, not feelings. Here's how you work when you don't feel like it. Your feelings are the biggest lie you tell yourself. You think you need to feel like working to get things done? That's exactly why you're losing. You let emotions dictate your actions, and that's the first step toward failure. The truth is simple. Your feelings don't matter. Your mission does. There will be days you wake up drained, uninspired, bored, or exhausted. And what do most people do? They hit snooze. They scroll their phones, looking for that tiny spark of motivation, hoping for a video, a quote, or some magical force to push them forward. They wait. They hesitate. And that's why they stay exactly where they are, stuck, stagnant, weak. Because they've convinced themselves that action depends on feeling. But the elite, the ones who rise above everyone else, they don't operate that way. They don't check their emotions before making moves. They don't sit around wondering if they're in the right mood to work. They execute. Whether they're tired, whether they're broken, whether they're uninspired, they get up and do the work. Because the mission is bigger than how they feel in the moment. Think about it. Do soldiers on the battlefield stop and say, I'm not really in the mood for war today? Do athletes competing for a championship wake up and say, I don't feel like training? No, they show up, they push through, they fight. Because they understand one thing you haven't fully grasped yet. Discipline over emotion, mission over feelings. Your brain is built for survival, not success. It will always seek comfort, pleasure, and safety. It will tell you to rest when you should be working. It will tell you to take it easy when you should be pushing harder. It will feed you every excuse in the book. You're tired, you worked hard yesterday. Just take one day off. But if you listen, even once, you've already lost. Because weakness doesn't come all at once. It creeps in, little by little. One skipped workout turns into a week of laziness. One day of procrastination turns into a habit. Before you know it, you've wasted months, years, even decades waiting for motivation that never comes. If you want to break this cycle, you need to kill the feeling. You need to stop caring about how you feel and start moving with purpose. The moment your alarm goes off, don't think, move. When it's time to work, don't negotiate, execute. You don't need motivation, you need momentum. Every time you push through that resistance, you get stronger. Every time you silence that weak voice in your head, you take back control. Your mission is what matters. Whatever your goal is, building a business, getting in peak shape, mastering a skill, you need to tie it to something greater than just yourself. If you only work when it's convenient, you'll never accomplish anything significant. The greats understand this. They don't rely on motivation. They operate on a code, a duty, a standard that doesn't bend to their emotion. This is what separates the winners from the losers. The winners feel the same resistance, the same fatigue, the same doubts, but they move anyway. They work when they're tired. They grind when they're uninspired. They push when every part of them wants to quit. And that's why they win. So, the next time you catch yourself thinking, I don't feel like it, recognize that thought for what it is. A test. A moment where you either give in to weakness or prove to yourself that you're unstoppable. Let the weak wait for motivation. Let them stay stuck in their emotions. But not you. You move. You execute. Because your mission is bigger than your feelings. Now get up and work. Standards define everything. They dictate who wins, who loses, who rises, and who falls. And if your standards are weak, if they're flexible, if they bend every time you feel tired or unmotivated, then you'll never achieve anything worthwhile. The only way to win is to set brutal, non-negotiable standards for yourself. Rules so rigid that you follow them without question, no matter how you feel. Most people fail, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they lack standards. They tell themselves they want success, but they allow themselves to slack off when things get hard. They want to be disciplined, but they justify skipping workouts, taking breaks, procrastinating on important tasks. They let their feelings dictate their actions, and that's why they stay exactly where they are. Average, mediocre, stuck in the same cycle of laziness and regret. Non-negotiable standards eliminate this weakness. They take away the option of failure. When you decide that something is mandatory, when skipping it isn't even a thought, you remove the mental battle. You stop debating with yourself. You don't waste energy deciding whether to work or not. You just do it. The greatest achievers don't operate on if I feel like it. They operate on rules they refuse to break. Look at any elite performer. Athletes, business moguls, warriors, they all have one thing in common. They set a code for themselves that they follow no matter what. They don't let excuses creep in. If they say they train 6 days a week, they train 6 days a week. If they say they wake up at 5 a.m., they wake up at 5 a.m. Doesn't matter if they're tired, busy, or in a bad mood. Their standards are set in stone. This is the key. If you give yourself an out, you'll take it. The second you allow flexibility, your mind will find a reason to slack off. You'll justify skipping today because it's just one time. You'll push something to tomorrow, thinking it won't matter. But that's how weakness spreads. One missed day turns into a habit. One exception turns into a pattern. Before you know it, you've lost all momentum and you're back to square one, wondering why you never reach your goals. Setting brutal, non-negotiable standards means making commitments to yourself that you never break. It means deciding in advance what needs to be done and executing without hesitation. It's about eliminating choice and replacing it with duty. Winners don't wait for the perfect conditions. They create discipline so ingrained that they don't even consider failure an option. Think of it like this. If you had a job and your boss told you to show up at 7 a.m., you'd be there at 7 a.m. No debate, no negotiation. You wouldn't text your boss saying, I didn't feel like waking up today. You'd show up because it's a requirement. That's exactly how you need to treat your own personal standards. Stop giving yourself an easy way out. Stop acting like your own rules are optional. If you say you'll work out, then work out. If you say you'll grind for 6 hours a day, then no excuses, no exceptions. Your results in life are a direct reflection of your standards. If your standards are weak, your results will be weak. If you demand excellence from yourself every single day, success is inevitable. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you tolerate. And if you tolerate inconsistency, laziness, and procrastination, that's exactly what you'll get. But if you hold yourself to an unbreakable standard, if you refuse to accept anything less than absolute discipline, you'll dominate in whatever you choose to do. It's that simple. Set brutal, non-negotiable standards and follow them like your life depends on it. Because in a way it does. Most people run from pain. They avoid discomfort like it's some kind of disease, always looking for the easiest path, the shortcut, the hack that lets them succeed without suffering. That's why they stay weak. That's why they stay average. Because the truth is, pain is the price of power. Every great thing in life is built on suffering. And the ones who understand this, the ones who don't just endure pain but embrace it, the ones who rise above everyone else. You want success, you better be ready to suffer for it. You better be ready to push through exhaustion, frustration, and failure. You better be ready to do the work when you're sick, when you're tired, when you're uninspired. Because success doesn't care how you feel. Your goals don't give a damn about your bad day, your excuses, or your feelings. The world rewards the ones who push through the struggle, not the ones who run from it. Pain is the ultimate test. It's the moment where weak people break and strong people push through. That's what separates the winners from the losers. Everybody wants to be rich, but they don't want to grind for results. Everybody wants the perfect body, but they don't want to suffer through the work that is. Everybody wants greatness, but they don't want to bleed for it. That's why so many people quit. They think pain means stop. But in reality, pain is the sign that you're on the right path. It means you're growing. It means you're leveling up. Look at the best in your field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, warriors. They didn't get there by avoiding struggle. They got there because they chased it. They understood that pain is not an obstacle, it's fuel. Every time they felt that burn, every time they hit a wall, they leaned into it instead of backing off. They trained when their bodies screamed for rest. They worked when their minds begged for a break. They kept pushing forward when everything inside them told them to stop. That's why they became unstoppable. Pain isn't something to fear, it's something to use. Every time you feel discomfort, every time you feel that pressure, remind yourself that this is what separates you from the weak. This is what builds the unbreakable mindset that winners have. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain. You get stronger by embracing it, by leaning into it, by using it as proof that you're doing what others won't. Think about it. If it were easy, everyone would be successful. If it didn't hurt, everyone would be in shape, everyone would be disciplined, everyone would be rich. But they're not. Because pain filters people out. It weeds out the ones who don't have what it takes, the ones who crumble the moment things get tough. You want to win? You have to be the one who keeps going when everyone else quits. So the moment you start seeing pain as fuel, everything changes. You stop looking for the easy way out. You stop hoping for motivation to magically appear. You stop complaining about how hard things are. Instead, you welcome the struggle. You crave the resistance. You use the pain. because you know that on the other side of that suffering is strength, power, and success. Every rep in the gym that burns, every late night grinding on your craft, every rejection, every failure, it's all fuel. The pain you feel today is the strength you'll have tomorrow. And the more pain you're willing to endure, the stronger you'll become. The weak let pain break them. The strong let pain build them. Which one are you? Weakness is a disease, and like any disease, it spreads if you let it. The problem with most people is that they keep a door open for weakness, a safety net, a backup plan that allows them to fall back into comfort when things get hard. They tell themselves they want success, but they keep their old habits, their old mindset, their old excuses. They refuse to cut off the things that make them weak, and that's why they never break through. If you want to become unstoppable, you need to burn the bridges that connect you to weakness. You need to eliminate every escape route, every excuse, every soft spot in your mind that gives you a way out when things get tough. People say they want discipline, but they keep distractions all around them. They say they want to work harder, but they still surround themselves with lazy people. They say they want to build a better life, but they refuse to let go of the things holding them back. Weakness doesn't just disappear on its own. You have to rip it out of your life like a weed. And that means cutting ties with anything that makes you less than you could. Your environment matters. People you associate with, the habits you build, the things you consume, all of it either makes you stronger or weaker. If the people around you are lazy, unmotivated, and full of excuses, guess what? You'll become just like them. If you spend your time watching nonsense, eating garbage, and wasting hours on meaningless entertainment, you'll never develop the focus and discipline needed. Weakness thrives in comfort, in distractions, in half measures. If you leave room for it, it will take over your life. Burn the bridges. That means if a habit is making you weak, cut it off completely. If the people around you are dragging you down, distance yourself. If you keep falling into the same patterns of laziness and procrastination, eliminate whatever triggers them. Stop negotiating with yourself. Stop making excuses. Stop giving weakness a seat at the table. Winners don't keep doors open for failure. They shut them, lock them, and throw away the key. The reason most people never reach their potential is because they always give themselves options to quit. They say, if this doesn't work out, I'll just go back to my old ways. That's exactly why they fail. When you give yourself a way out, you'll take it the second things get unearthed. You'll hesitate, you'll second guess yourself, before you know it, you're right back where you started. Stuck, weak. But when you burn the bridges, when you remove every possible retreat, you'll force yourself to push forward. You create a situation where the only choice is to succeed. This is how warriors operate. When they step onto the battlefield, there's no turning back. They don't fight with one foot in the battle and one foot in retreat. They commit fully, knowing that hesitation is death. That's the mindset you need to adopt in your own life. Stop treating your goals like optional luxuries. Stop allowing weakness to exist in your mind. Make success the only path forward and destroy everything that pulls you away from it. You either take control or you let weakness control you. There is no middle ground. If you want to dominate, if you want to reach a level most people never will, then you have to remove every single thing that makes you weak. No more bad habits, no more toxic people, no more excuses. Burn the bridges, cut the ties, and never look back. Weakness can't survive if you don't allow it to. The biggest war you will ever fight is not in the gym, not in business, not against your competition. It's in your own mind. Every single day, from the second you wake up, you are at war with yourself. There's a voice in your head that tells you to take it easy, to hit snooze, to skip the hard work, to give in to weakness. Most people, they listen. They negotiate with that voice, and every time they do, they lose. That's why so many people fail. They think discipline is something they can turn on and off. They think they can sit there and debate whether or not they should put in the work. And that's the mistake. The moment you start negotiating, you've already lost. Because the second you give yourself a choice, the weak side of you will always find a reason to back down. Winners don't negotiate with themselves. They don't sit there debating whether they should get out of bed, whether they should work out, whether they should put in the hours. They just do it. They move without hesitation, without excuses, without questioning. They don't let the mind trick them into comfort because they understand that comfort is the enemy. Every time you negotiate, you are feeding weakness. You are training your brain to accept laziness, to tolerate failure, to believe that it's okay to take the easy route. And over time, this becomes your default mode. You start believing your own excuses. You start thinking that waiting for motivation is normal. You start acting like success is something you can achieve without sacrifice. And before you know it, you're just like everyone else. Stuck, unfulfilled, wondering why nothing in your life is changing. If you want to win, you have to shut that negotiation down before it even begins. When your alarm goes off, you don't think, you get up. When it's time to train, you don't debate, you show up. When you have work to do, you don't wait for inspiration, you execute. You remove choice from the equation. You create rules for yourself that are non-negotiable. This is what separates the elite from the average. The weak give themselves options. The strong only give themselves one path forward. Look at the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most disciplined warriors. Do you think they wake up every day feeling motivated? No. They wake up tired. They wake up sore. They wake up just like you with that same voice in their head telling them to take a break. But they've trained themselves to ignore it. They've built the habit of immediate action. They don't entertain weakness. They don't give themselves time to hesitate. Hesitation kills. The moment you hesitate, the moment you start weighing your options, you create room for doubt. And doubt leads to excuses. One excuse leads to another. Before you know it, you've built a lifestyle of failure. It all starts in the mind. The winners, they have the same struggles, the same doubts, but they act before their brain has time to talk them out of it. This is the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The ones who win have mastered their mind. They have turned discipline into instinct. They don't wait for motivation. They don't rely on feelings, and they don't allow negotiation. They have one rule: do the work, no matter what. Every day is a battle. Every moment is a test. And the ones who rise to the top are the ones who refuse to negotiate with their own weakness. So the question is, when that voice creeps in, when your mind starts to bargain with you, when you feel the urge to hesitate, are you going to shut it down and execute? Or are you going to lose the mental war? The choice is yours. There is no secret formula, no magic shortcut. Just a simple truth. You either win the war in your mind or you lose everything. Every excuse you entertain, every moment you hesitate, every time you let weakness negotiate with you, you're choosing to stay average. And if you stay average, you'll never get what you want. So make a decision right now. No more debating, no more waiting, no more giving yourself an easy way out. From this moment forward, you execute without hesitation. You move with discipline. You act without emotion. You show up every single day, no matter what. Because in the end, nobody cares how you feel. Nobody cares about your excuses. The world only rewards those who show up, who put in the work,